All right, guys, so this diagram is for your moon phases from Earth, okay? So we're going to talk about what each moon would look like if we're looking at it from Earth. And remember, there's only one moon, but we're looking at the 8 positions that we would see the 8 different moon phases in, okay? So I'm going to go over here and grab my pen. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw my arrow for the direction the moon orbits. Okay, so the moon orbits counterclockwise. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to draw my arrows for the direction that the moon orbits Earth. Okay, all right, so those are my arrows. And I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to start with the easiest moon phase, in my opinion. Easiest moon phase is the new moon. So this moon that is between the sun and the earth is always going to be our new moon phase. And our new moon is completely dark, so I am going to shade my moon in completely dark. It's not going to be perfect. If you want to make yours look a little bit nicer, you can, but I'm going to go ahead and shade in my new moon. And once I've shaded it in, I am going to name it so that I remember which moon phase is which. Okay, so the next moon phase we would see from Earth, I'm following the direction of orbit. The next moon phase we would see is this one right here. And this is going to be just a little bit of light on the right-hand side of the moon. That is our, whoops, that is our waxing crescent moon phase. So I am going to draw a little line right there for the light that's left, and I'm going to shade the rest of it in dark. Mine's not going to be perfect. I'm just shading it in so that I remember what's light and what is dark. And now that I've shaded it in, I am going to name it, and that is waxing crescent. And the next moon phase is going to be one of our quarter moons, okay? So it is our first quarter moon. That means the right half is bright and the left half is dark. So I'm going to go ahead and shade that in. And then I'm going to name it. That is our first quarter moon. All right. Again, following the direction of the moon's orbit, our next moon phase is going to be a waxing gibbous. So there's going to be just a little bit of light, a little bit of dark on the left-hand side. So it's mostly bright, and that brightness is on the right-hand side. Now that I've shaded it, I'm going to go ahead and name it, and it's waxing gibbous. Okay. All right. The next moon is our full moon, and that one means it is entirely bright. So I do not have to shade anything in on this moon. So I'm just going to name it. It is our full moon. It is completely bright. All right. Again, following the direction of the moon's orbit, my next moon phase is a waning gibbous. So it's still mostly bright because it's that gibbous shape, but the brightness is now on the left-hand side instead of the right. Okay, so there's a little bit of darkness on the right, and then I've shaded that in. I'm going to name it. It is waning gibbous. All right, the next moon phase. Okay, the next moon phase is our next quarter moon. This is our last quarter moon. So it is going to be bright on the left-hand side, and the right-hand side is going to be dark. So I'm going to go ahead and shade that in. And then I've shaded it. I'm going to name it. That is our last quarter moon. All right. And lastly, we have our waning crescent. So it is waning, so that brightness is going to be on the left-hand side, and it is just a little bit of light on the left-hand side. So I'm going to go ahead and shade that in. And once I've shaded it, I will name it. That is a waning crescent. And that's it. That is our moon phase diagram as seen from Earth. If we look at them from above, what your other diagram looks like, they do look different. Okay? And just to remind ourselves to remember what we're looking at, this moon right here that is between the sun and the earth, this one right here is always going to be our new moon because the brightness comes from the sun, and we're not seeing any of that side of the moon when we're looking at it from Earth. So that is always going to be our new moon phase. And just to kind of help you out a little bit more, I know some people get kind of confused when we're shading things in, we're coloring in the dark part. I am going to go back and I am going to put some color on the bright hand side. So when we look at the moon, that little bit of light right there, this one is half bright. This one is mostly bright. You don't have to do this on your diagram, but I'm doing it on this one so that it's just a helpful reminder that what is left is what is bright, instead of you being confused about what you're coloring in. In the full moon, the whole thing is bright. And then our waning gibbous is still mostly bright because it is a gibbous-shaped moon, but that brightness is on the left-hand side instead of the right, so it is a waning gibbous. And then our last quarter moon, the left half is bright. And then our waning crescent, there's just a little bit of brightness on the left-hand side. That is our waning crescent. All right. And that is exactly what your diagram is going to look like. If you are confused on anything, please don't hesitate to email me or come to my office hours and I can help you out with it.